Thank you, Alex, for introducing me. For me, it's really special to be here because I admire JSHeroes from the first editions, and after all these amazing talks that we had in the previous years and this year, I have the opportunity to be here on stage, and it's really special for me. Today, we're going to speak about simple data fetching with React Query. But before we do that, I want to say a few words. The thing is, with React, probably one of the most tasks that probably actually web developers in general do, it's fetch data from an API. And let's make this one simpler because it sometimes gets messy, and I hope at the end of this talk, you will want to at least try and have a look at the React Query because I think it really helps that part. A few words about me. Alex stole a big part of it. My name is Daniel. I work as a software developer at Fortech. I also help organize the local meetups. So if you ever feel like sharing something with the community, we can either do it in person or online. If you're from abroad or another city, just contact me and we'll make it happen. First, let's see how we do data fetching in React. I would say in a classical way. So probably we have something like in a use state, we do an API call. First of all, I'm going to use it a few times, so I'm going to explain it. We have an API service there. What I do, I create an utility function that handles all the API integration, and I just use the functions from that utility in my React components. So, for example, if I want to change the fetching from fetch to Axios, I just go and modify it in that utility, and then it's available in all the applications, so I don't have to do this in each component. So here in the use effect, we go and we get the products, and then when we have the products, we set them in the local state. We also have a loading flag, so we can show the user spinner while we're fetching the data. It's nothing complicated. But we can do this one even simpler. So here we have the same implementation with React Query. So what we have to do is just import the use query function from React Query, and then we use it. Use query receives 3 parameters. The function, it receives a query key, which we have products here. And from API service, we use the get products function. And it also has a third parameter that we don't use it here, but it's for extra options. And we're going to see a bit later what options we have there. And if you see, it's much, much more simpler. We dropped like at least 10 lines of code, and I could have made the classical data fetching even more complicated if I wanted to add isError or other things. But here I try to keep it as simple so you can see the difference. And for example, if we wanted to add isError, we didn't have to add any logic. We would just import it from use query, and that's it. The setup is quite easy. It's nothing complicated. We just need to, of course, first of all, install the React Query library. And then in the top of your component chain, you wrap the query client provider from React Query, pass them a query client. And also, if you want, you can import the React Dev tools. We're going to see a bit later. They're quite nice and easy to use. So what is React Query? React Query is a library that helps you simplify data fetching in React or React Native. It works also on React Native. It helps manage your server state. by making fetching, caching, and synchronizing and update much easier. I mentioned a bit server state. I want to talk a bit about what's client state and server state because it's really important. Server state is your persistent data layer. So it's usually behind an API, it's on the back end, and it's your true data layer because that's where you have all your information kept, and that's the latest update. Okay, sorry, it has a bit of lag. So in the client state, we usually fetch the data, we add it in the client state, we use some kind of global state management, maybe Redux or other libraries. And the thing is that data becomes stale in time. So the data from the front end, from the back end, it becomes not connected. RegQuery's goal is to make you as close as possible to the server state. So by doing this, RegQuery makes data fetching, caching, and synchronizing your data with the server state much easier. Now I'm going to show you a few things why I like RegQuery. It's not a lot, it's not all of them that I like, but I had to limit a number of them. For example, here we have an example of mutation that it's used to add or modify some data in the server state, so basically in the backend. And what I like a lot is that after we do the call and we add the product, we can easily invalidate the data. By using onSuccess, we tell RegQuery, hey, if you have any components that use products, invalidate the cache. And what this does is they go and refetch automatically that data. So you don't have to do any kind of handling of this part because they do it for you. And I think that helps a lot. And this is just one of the things that you can do. Also, I mentioned the dev tools. The dev tools are simple and nice. You can see the data, you can invalidate the data, do refetch, and they also have there, if you see the stale part, you can see how old, when it was the last time when they fetched the data. Sorry. There are even more things that I like. So first of all, the things that made wow for me was you saw the difference of code. I mean, we went from like, I know, 25, 35 lines of code to, I know, at least 10 lines less. That means less places to make bugs, plus it's much easier to see and understand what's happening there. They have, by default, automatic retries. So if you have a flaky API, what's nice by RegQuery goes and tries to fetch the data 3 times before it fails. So that's by default, and it's really good because, again, you don't have to add extra code to do that. They have a really nice thing in their documentation that I like. It's aggressive and sane defaults. Which I really recommend to read them because they're really important. Most of the things that they added there, it's valid for most of the projects. So remember I told you about the option part of the use query? There you can invalidate some of these defaults. For example, I don't want 3 retries, I just want 1 or I want more. You can modify it there. Data caching, it's 5 minutes. If you want, you can make it less or more. You just need to change those defaults. They also have a dedupping, so if you have components that use the same endpoint, RegQuery will not do 2 fetches, it will just do 1, and will fetch data just once. So that improves the number of API calls that you have to do. Plus also the data, it's in sync because you use the one call. It's widely used. It has close to 1.4 million downloads in the past week. So you have a lot of community and a lot of projects use it. And they also have a lot of features out of the box. I didn't even mention, like for example, if you autofocus one of the windows that your application is and you go back, it automatically refetches the data because you focused on that window. Thank you very much. I hope I sparked your intention, your mind with React Query, and I really recommend to use it and give it a try. I think it's going to help simplify your data fetching. Thank you.